Hey, it's Dave Dolphin at practicalworshipblog.com, and today I thought I would share with you the drums position we have here at the church. Now, all of this gear here is church-owned. In fact, all of our positions here at the church, all of our players use church-owned gear, and the reason for that is our philosophy. We want to maintain a consistent sound from weekend to weekend and yet still be able to switch players in and out. It also allows us to utilize players that might have really good chops but don't necessarily have the money to go out and buy really pro gear. So it allows us to be able to utilize them and still get a quality product out. We spend a lot of time getting really good drum sounds because if for the style of music that we do, and I would imagine you do if you're watching this video, if you can get really good drum sounds, your mix is about 80% there. So obviously there's things that we do at front of house as far as EQ and compression and things like that, reverb, but we talk a lot about cymbal selection, and we look at the drums themselves and what we're using and the heads that we put on that and the mic placement and all those things. Because if you can't get the source material right, there's really not a lot that the front of house can do to fix and overcome that. So let me play the whole kit for you, give you an idea what it sounds like, and then we'll talk about it some more. So these drums are Tama Star Classics, and they were purchased about 10 years ago or so, before I was here at the church. And they did a really good job selecting a drum set that even today really fits the style and works well in the mix. This is actually a fusion kit, and so that means that the toms are a little bit smaller than normal. So if this were a 5-piece, you would see a 10-inch, a 12-inch, and a 14-inch. We run this like a 4-piece, and we use the lower of the two. So that's a 12-inch and that's a 14-inch, and the drums themselves are made out of maple. This snare we picked up about a year or so ago, and it's a Gretsch maple snare, and it is 8 inches deep, and it's what allows us to get that really deep 80s journey sound out of it. And the funny thing about this snare is that it actually sounds really bad when you just sit on top of it. If you don't have the PA on or your headphones on or any of that, and if you're just sitting here playing it, it actually sounds pretty awful. And I have to warn my drummers when they sit down, they haven't played here before. When you sit down, the snare's gonna sound bad. Don't break out your drum key, because through the PA, it sounds amazing. So don't mess with that. So that's the drums. The cymbals are Zildjian A's. Now, as far as mic selection and mic placement goes, for the most part, it's pretty standard stuff as far as how they're pointed and aimed. These mics are the Audix mics on the toms and the kick. This is a 57 on the snare. The cymbal mics are SM81s. Now, where we kind of break from convention is, notice how this mic is pointed. Instead of having overheads and a stereo pair, which is what a lot of people do, we have one specifically for this crash cymbal, which is actually underneath. And then we have this one over here that is pointing down at our ride cymbal and also getting the crash cymbal that's over here. And if you're one that follows a lot of the larger churches and the blogs that they do, and you look at that and you go, it looks like Andrew Stone from Church on the Move in Tulsa has been here, you would be right. He helped us with our drum sounds about a year or so ago, and he showed us this trick, and it's worked really, really well for us. The final thing I'll say is that notice that on the hi-hat we are doing a 57. Now, I'd prefer maybe an SM81, but we don't have another 81 to use. And so this was a case of using what we had, and it works. So if it's not broken, why fix it? And so that is a tour of our drums position here at the church. Now, if you have any questions about mic selection or mic placement, EQ, compression, things that you do at front of house, I actually found a really good blog from houseofworshiptechnology.com that goes into a lot of detail about those kinds of things, and their philosophies mirror up with a lot of the philosophies we have here at the church. So I'll put that link in the description below. Thanks for watching the video. If this was helpful, I'd love for you to hit the like button below or subscribe to the channel. That way you know when new videos hit. If If you have any questions about any of the things that you've seen, ask that in the comments below, and we'll have a conversation that way. And for more great resources, always check out practicalworshipblog.com.